welcome back to a sunny South Africa, and this is South African Prepper. So I want to talk to you today about surviving the coming famine in the world. So I want to tell you two stories of two countries. I'm not going to tell you the names right now, but I'll tell you the names after the little story and the comparison. And you will actually see where the story is leading towards. So the one country plays off in 1930. So this specific leader of this country decided that he is gonna tax the farmers or the communities that actually produce food, fresh produce. This specific country, they specialized in wheat production and then potato production. And then what this government basically did is they started taxing these farmers. So they used to send out government officials. These government officials will then lay claim upon the produce, and it went so far that the farmers started hiding some of the fresh produce. And whenever these government officials caught people hiding away fresh produce, they will then execute them. So this specific country in the 1930s, I think it's 1933 to be specific, then went into a famine because the farmers could just not produce enough for the general population and then for themselves. So the second country, this country plays off between 1980 and then the 2000s. So a little bit of a different story. In this country, this government decided that they are going to be laying claim on land. So what they did is they went to productive farms, so different farms producing different fresh produce. Now, coincidentally, these two countries, they are in two different parts of the world, or in the world. They were actually both known as being the bread baskets of those specific areas in the world. So, country number two, between 1980 and 2000, the government started laying claim to land between that period. And then what happened in that country, productive farms went from being productive, taken by the government, and then basically they came or became unproductive. So they weren't producing enough food for that specific country. So the first country, the 1930 example, is the Ukraine. You can go read up about how Stalin actually took Ukraine from being the breadbasket of the Soviet Union and taking the Ukraine into a famine where millions and millions of people actually starved because of a lack of food. Second example is Zimbabwe, okay, just north of where I'm currently sitting. Also, it was called the breadbasket of Sub-Saharan Africa. Small country that produced a hell of a lot of food, and then the government intervened, and it went from producing almost anything and everything that you can think of to a famine. Literally so bad that if you go into the stores, the shelves would be empty. The money was worth nothing. So why are we talking about famine? Now, what's happening in the world is exactly the stories that I just shared with you, or the piece of history. So 2020, 2021 and 2022, we've got this thing going on, okay? And it seems like it's now dying off, and then the next big move of the bigger hands will be to create some sort of a famine. Now, I am a farmer, I'll be very honest with you. With modern technology and modern farming technology, no person in this world should go hungry, okay? But because of how the system has been put together, there are patents on seeds. People actually own seeds. If you take corn seed, and it's got a specific serial number on it, okay, it's owned by a company. The same with your tomato seeds, your lettuce seed, your potato seeds. There is always somebody that literally owns the patent of that specific seed. And what we have seen people like Bill Gates and them do is buy out a whole lot of land. Most of these bigger corporations and global elites own the seed and land companies of the world. And the next big thing that is gonna happen is a worldwide famine. Now, you can go to your local grocery store. I've got one 2 or 3 kilometers towards my back, and I can already see the stores are not keeping up and not keeping the shelves filled as we are used to. So, the question that you have to ask yourself is, how are we gonna survive a worldwide famine? For us, it is fairly simple. We look at history and we try and do it a little bit better than history. So in our case, we have a prepping community, and within the prepping community, we have different departments, and within these departments, we have various skills that can actually provide us with the knowledge to create things. Now, our biggest strategy, okay, is to take our community, to strategically relocate, to be safe firstly, and then secondly, start producing our own food within that area and within that community. And how are we going to do that? Well, it is very simple. We're going to go back to what we call subsistence farming. Okay, so every person will get a small piece of land. The one family might plant only onions, and the other family might only plant potatoes, and the other family might only plant spinach, and they will then trade between each other to make sure that everybody is fed well. And that is how we plan on surviving the next famine that's going to hit this world. Guys, please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching our videos.